September 9th, 1880, I just arrived in San Francisco, California, staring at the Pacific Ocean for the first time in my life. The salt air hits different when you're the first sitting president to ever see it. After 2,700 miles in a train that's been chugging along for weeks, I'm witnessing what manifest destiny actually manifested. Like I've been president for 3 years, but seeing the actual edge of America, that's a whole different vibe. My name is Rutherford B. Hayes, and this is the AP US History My Story podcast. Look, I'll be real with you. I wasn't even supposed to be president. The election of 1876 was straight up sus. Samuel Tilden beat me in the popular vote by like 250,000 votes, but there were these 20 disputed electoral votes, and both parties were claiming victory. After a special electoral commission and some shady backroom deals, what we now call the Compromise of 1877, they gave me all 20 disputed votes, and I won by one electoral vote, 185 to 184. Democrats called me Rutherford and his fraudulency. The deal was I'd become president, but I had to end Reconstruction by pulling federal troops out of the South, which is exactly what I did in my first few months. The promise of equality after the Civil War, yeah, we basically traded that for me getting to sit in the White House. So I took this epic train journey to California in an attempt to unify the country and get over all the drama. Not only was the South bitter about losing the Civil War, there was also the Great Railroad Strike of 1877, and out here in California, there was a massive anti-Chinese sentiment because Chinese immigrants would work for lower wages. This train trip is supposed to symbolize national unity and progress. The Southern Pacific, Central Pacific, and Union Pacific railroads all connected to create a massive transcontinental network. We're talking about cargo and people moving from the Atlantic to the Pacific in days instead of months. The infrastructure boom was unreal. Telegraphs, railroads, bridges, all of it connecting our country. The learning objective here, and this is crucial for your AP exam, is understanding how Reconstruction resulted in both continuity and change in what it meant to be an American. On one hand, we had the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that ended slavery and guaranteed citizenship and voting rights regardless of race. That's the continuity part. These ideals became permanent parts of our Constitution. But the change part, the end of Reconstruction meant those rights existed on paper, but not in practice for millions of Americans. Being American started to mean different things depending on your race, where you lived, and who is empowered to enforce or not enforce the law. Standing in the Pacific shore, watching those waves crash, I realized America had finally stretched from sea to shining sea. But the question of who got to fully participate in that America, that was still very much up for debate. And honestly, it still is. Like, follow, and share the AP US History My Story podcast, because these stories hit different when you hear the original voices that shaped our country.